Welcome to Daditude, episode 8. I'm here with the wonderful, the splendiferous. Is that a word? I don't care. I just made it up. The great Jericho Green. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right.
Wow, that's quite the move there.
Right, I don't give that to everybody.
Is that how you got your wife? You did that from across the room?
I did twice. She was powerless against it.
That's right. That's right. What's your go-to move?
Mm-hmm.
Keep it PG rated. I don't want you to humiliate your wife. Mm-hmm. You got a go-to move? Do you tickle her, like kiss her on the neck and that tickles? You got what's your go-to? What's your move? I'll flop it out. No, just
yeah. No, it's definitely up in here somewhere.
Yeah, me too. Works
general area. Yeah, it's a wrap. It's over. I know what to do. I've been doing this for 20 years.
That's right.
I'm an expert. We are experts on marriage and relationships.
Right.
Something you've done for 10,000 hours or more. Yeah.
PhD in crushing puss. No.
Hey, and killing that bush.
Like we could be in front of an auditorium full of people with a ponytail and a Hawaiian shirt, with a Subaru Outback in the college parking lot right now. We're experts. We could be on the if there was a trial and they needed an expert on marriage,
right?
We could do it.
Yeah,
easily.
That's right. We'd be those expert witnesses give expert testimony on what it's like to make a woman just melt in these giant hands of mine.
These massive hands.
These catcher's mitts.
Yeah, they're not that just for this anymore.
Yeah, well, I told you it would be a crime against humanity if I didn't spank my wife on the butt when I have 10-inch hands.
Yeah.
It's
and they know, and they expect it. They expect it.
Oh, yeah, like you're dropping things in the kitchen all the time. Also, you're a clumsy idiot all the time, huh?
Drop that pan again, girl.
I just expect to hear the Flintstone sound effect when they bend over, and they're wiggling their butt or whatever.
Yeah. And when you walk, if they're on the phone and you walk past them, if you look at them, fellas, you'll see them. They kind of tense up a little bit because they
know it's coming. They know it's coming.
They're expecting that. You keep that lust for your wife. That should never go away. Ever,
right.
Ever.
Keep the fire alive,
Don't let people tell you, oh man, when you get married, you don't ever. That's nonsense. They're doing it wrong.
It's loser talk. Talk.
Those are people who have failed at it.
Right. Yeah. Don't take advice from people who've never been married, couldn't stay married, won't get married. Don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about.
If they're 3-4 wives in, they don't know shit.
I remember hearing as a little kid, it was on the news or my mom said it or read it in the newspaper. I just heard, what's the famous actress Elizabeth Taylor? Elizabeth Taylor's married for the 7th time. I remember as a little kid going, wow, she's crazy. I knew inherently as a 6-year-old.
7 times?
As a 6-year-old, I knew you're nuts if you've done that. You're clearly nuts,
And I think if for some reason I weren't married to my wife anymore, I don't think I would do it again.
Really? How come?
I don't know. I just think that I've poured so much into this person and this life we've created together that's something that I would only want to do once.
Yeah,
I agree. It's almost, I remember the other day thinking, and I'm sure tons of people listening to this have been married more than once. And I was thinking, how?
Right. This is my wife. No one else is or ever will be. even if I married them and lived with them, that's not my wife. I have a wife, and she's my family.
That's it.
And then that's it. That's our story forever, and I don't care. That's like, no, it is such a. My wedding anniversary is in 2 days. 27 years, 27 long years. The smallest handcuff in the world, right there.
Clank, clank. Yeah.
But no, I agree with you completely. It is a good thing men typically die before their wives. I wouldn't want to be alone. But I definitely wouldn't remarry. How could someone else be my wife? It's illogical to me. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So
that's just weird. And I don't want to. Yeah, I'm just very selfish in that way. I don't want my wife marrying anybody else. Like, what? Hell no.
Unfortunately, I see that women usually they get married after the guy's gone.
As soon as they throw the dirt on me, you install your chastity belt. It's over.
You tell, hey, at least have him wait in the car at the funeral, right? I don't need him standing there by the coffin.
I don't want him.
Her boyfriend's there, and he's like, "What happened to this guy?"
It was a fucking prick. Yeah, I don't want that. No.
Nah. He takes your picture down in the living room.
Yeah, you're just.
He throws your shit away. He throws your favorite collectors, whatever you model airplanes or whatever crap you like spent your life gluing these stupid airplanes. He just throws them out or something.
Yeah, just cut to the garbage truck picking it up and dumping it in the back, and it's all broken. No, you know what? I'll just live forever. Forget it. Just make sure that doesn't happen.
That's the move. That's the move. Live forever.
That's what I have to do.
So before the show, we were talking about soft language. You know how people they want to hedge. They want to be politically correct. And we spoke in the last episode how political correctness just started to creep like a little bit of mold on the bottom of society in the 90s. And it's fully flowered now. It is insane how people are liars. They will not speak the truth. They will not say what they actually believe. You won't find that here. We're giving it to you straight and unfiltered. That's how we give it to you, like Marlboro Reds. Right. And what do you think? What do you think of all these cowardly eunuchs, these men who will not speak the truth no matter what, because they're afraid that some lady somewhere won't like what I said?
No, you have to, and you may not be, YouTubers or something or social media like with that platform, but we all have a platform, and in little situations in your life, you got to speak the truth, and you can't be quiet. And the only thing worse than being quiet is saying some shit isn't true. You can't support this stuff. You can't condone this stuff. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid that if I say this, something's going to happen. These little blue-haired turds are going to come after me. You can't be afraid of that, because then that lets them win. That darkness just gains ground every way, and our light gets smaller and smaller and smaller. You have to say shit. I can't stand. If people say, I've heard this a lot from people. Oh, Jericho, well, you can say it because I'm white. I can't say it. If I said it, why can't you say it? Do they give you do they take less tax out of your check because you can't say things? No, you're paying just like I am. So why the hell can't you say what you want?
I asked I'm not white. I'm Mexican and Arab, and I asked my white friends like that, like, when are you guys gonna stand up for yourselves? Because this is getting real weird. Bruh. You just put up with all this anti-white racism, and you're just like, it's cool. Like, when are you going to do something about this?
Say it. Say whatever you want. There may be consequences. There's consequences, the possible consequences when anybody
there's consequences for not speaking up. Which
look where we are now.
Do you want? Right.
Look where we are now. We've let the weirdos. We've let the incels creep from their basements. Now they pushed us off the soapbox, snatched the bullhorn from us, and now look at us. Right. Now everything's upside down. Now, if you don't date that guy who just put lipstick on and some rouge,
bigot,
you're a phobe. You're an ist. You're supposed to bed that guy now because, well, he's dressing up like a girl and he says he's a girl. So you have to take his nonsense as fact.
What are you?
Because you didn't say anything. Yeah. So what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're gonna do that because what? You don't want somebody to call you. Who cares? Right. Who cares what anybody says? Unless their name is on the deed to your house, or they're dropping some money in your mailbox to put on that cell phone bill every month. Who gives a shit what they think? Say what you know is true. Because if one by one we stop saying what's true, they're not going to shut up. They're only going to get louder.
But almost nobody will tell the truth nowadays, Jericho. They're all terrified of the cancel culture mobs. People are just, they live in quivering, pathetic fear of it. I don't, you don't. You know, famously what I did with my job at DC Comics Warner Brothers, I came out on national news and humiliated them. I became viral global news for like 3 days because I trashed them over the Truth, Justice, American Way stuff they were doing with Superman. I'm the only one in my business that ever did that. Other guys that are conservative that don't work for the mainstream comic book companies anymore, the phone quit ringing. You know what I mean? They didn't speak out boldly and say, hey, this woke shit is nonsense. And I almost never see. That's what was so refreshing when I got to know you. It was like, oh, he's like me. He will just say the truth. You know?
Yeah.
So what do you think is holding people back other than just cowardice? Let's diagnose for them. What are they afraid of? What do you think the fantasy is? What do you think they think is going to happen to them if they tell the truth? What do you think they fear specifically?
I think that they think what they've seen happen to other people is going to happen to them. Where on Monday, everything was fine. Tuesday, you said something that 10 years ago, no duh. Yeah, we all think that.
Right.
And you think you'll be like the bit from Bill Burr, you'll be standing out in front of the office with a box full of your shit and with, with an Emmy sticking out of it. And it's over. It's all over. And, and I'm not saying, yeah, man, just burn it all down, fucking ruin your job. I'm not saying that, because in reality, you need your job. You need to make some money, whatever. But there comes a point, man, where you got to do something. Right. I can't tell you how many times I got pulled outside by 2 managers when I worked at Trader Joe's because one of them had to be a witness to sign the write-up that I was about to get, because I would hear people say just the most stupid, outlandish shit, and I would say something about it. Like, what are you talking about? I remember one time this non-binary, and it's funny, everybody who's non-binary looks like a boy. So how are you non-binary?
They look like a dumpy boy.
Yeah, you should just wear like a bodysuit that's beige. You're nothing. You're just, everything's smooth. There's no defining characteristics. You're non-binary. You're not a boy. You're not a girl. But they all look like Michael J. Fox, right? So one of them was in the break room and they said out loud, no fear of consequence. And I noticed over the years, they get more and more brazen, saying crazy shit out loud in front of a break room full of people. One of them goes, I think men should just be sperm donors. Like, we don't need them for anything. What are you talking about? If I said in the same break room, I think women should be in the house barefoot and pregnant, and you better have a cold beer when I come home and a hot meal, I'm going to punch you in your face. Are you kidding me? They would be like, and I'd be fired, at least, if not, transferred or something. But they can just sit there and say the most outlandish, offensive bullshit. Like, what do you can't say that. What do you mean? Don't you know where we are? We're not on public land where you have the First Amendment. You have a modified version of the First Amendment at work. You can't just say the shit that pops into your head. And that's nonsense. The way they would talk about Trump supporters. Oh, man, they're stupid. They're racist or whatever. No, I'm not letting that shit fly. I'm going to say something about it because you're an idiot. How can you stand there and let somebody say just the dumbest shit ever?
I think what people do, and it's why most people have mediocre lives. They're born, they live, they die, and they're forgotten, and they don't achieve anything. They live by fear. That's what they live by. They have this little mediocre life in their hands, in the palm of their hands, and they say to themselves, but if I dare, I could lose this. And you look at what's in their hands, and it's just like dog shit, with some hair on it and maybe a paper clip and a toothpick stuck in there. You're like, why do you want that? That's garbage. Why don't you reach for more? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Fortune favors the bold, and they're so terrified. And I think it's a function, again, Daditude. This is about dads, and fathers are the cause of all these problems. Fathers not being there, and the ones that are there are cowards and pussies a lot of times. If you're raised by your mother, how are women when it comes to hurting people's feelings and being nice and all that, right? And then father's more like a splash of cold water in the face, like, hey, that's bullshit. We're not doing that. And the mom's like, oh, don't be mean to him. Let him be a fat, cowardly, pathetic loser his whole life. I think we're in this gynocentric. Oh, please expand on feel bad in 1 second. When we're in the gynocentric culture, where it's all about mothers and women and how they feel determines everything, then boys are raised that way. Like, well, mommy got mad when I said the naughty word, or I jumped off the couch playing or whatever. Mommy got upset. So they become adult men, allegedly men, who are afraid of mommy still. Do you think that's true? Because that's what I see.
Yeah, for sure. If you take the greatest piece of meat, whatever your favorite cut of steak is, and you soak it in red wine overnight, what's it going to taste like after you cooked it? After you put it to a flame of 450 degrees, you've cooked it. What's it going to taste like? It's going to taste like whatever you soaked it in.
Right.
So when you're soaking these boys in estrogen and they're all around women, they're going to be in a female in a woman's state of mind with a man's body that you're supposed to do more with, but you can't because I don't want. Hey man, this is tough. This is a demolition derby. As a man, you're going to get some dents. You're going to get hurt out here. Metaphorically speaking, but you can't be afraid to speak up against bullshit, man. Like you got people saying now, and we've all heard this: men can breastfeed, men can get periods. What are you fucking talking about? Where do you put the tampon? And the last time I checked, if you had a baby, and let's say you have a 6-month-old baby, and you go over to a family function, you go to Thanksgiving dinner, and Uncle Bob grabs your baby and takes his hairy nipple out and puts it in your baby's mouth, well, we all understood that we're now going to stomp the shit out of Uncle Bob right here in the living room, right? But no. Now, when he's a man, he can breastfeed. So it's okay for a man to put his nipple in a baby's mouth. That's okay now. You have universities installing tampon machines in the boys' bathroom. This is what happens when we're afraid and we don't say shit.
And you better speak up.
Crazy spreads fast.
Well, here you're exactly right. Let me expand on just how fast it spreads. For those of you that aren't too young, like if you're only 20, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. But if you're 30 or 40 or a little older, direction is more important than location in life. It doesn't matter where we are. It matters where we are in relation to where we were yesterday. Now, think back to the long ago of 2003, and now 20 years later, 2023, right? This episode will probably play in 2024. We're recording ahead of time. But regardless, think back 2004 and think back to now to 2024, okay? Let's look at it that way. See how different society is? Now imagine 20 years from now, 44. Imagine that. If people don't speak up for the truth and push back on lies with the truth, direction is more important than location, because direction tells you where you're going to end up. What is the logical conclusion of living your life? All of your life choices based off of lies and feelings. What happens, Jericho, if someone lives that way long enough? What'll happen to them and society?
It'll all fall apart. You'll realize that you can't build a society on that shit. Society has to be built on bedrock truths. It can't be built on your feelings. Feelings change. Feelings sway with the wind. Whatever the way wind blows, this is how I feel. And blah, blah. We can't. That's not solid. That's not structurally sound. We cannot build on that. And to tie these two shows together that we do, Daditude and Double Impact, if we continue on this path, 2044, 2064, we're looking at Demolition Man. You guys ever seen that movie? It was a neutered society where everything was sanitized. Nobody could do anything. We haven't had a murder, death, kill in 15 years, and it was a utopia, and everybody walked around with their hands in their sleeves like this. And what happened when Simon Phoenix showed up? Right. He was a one-man wrecking crew, and nobody could stop him, and nobody had the tools to stop him. Like overseas in Europe, the officers in the UK don't carry guns, but they got a SWAT team they can call. Hey, bruv. Hey, bro, what you gonna do, bruv?
Bangers and mash, bro.
He like my teeth.
Oh, so, but they have a group of people they can call who have guns. But when you have a pussified society, if somebody wakes up one day and says, I'm going to wreck shit, we're not going to be equipped to stop it. And there won't be anything we can do. So
if you think we're wrong, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's important to evolve and change in some ways, but we still have to be tethered to a handful of truths that will never change.
Well, that's the thing about progressivism. It really isn't progressive because all knowledge stands on top of the other knowledge. You learn things as you go, A and B testing. So you A/B test and go, okay, that was true, that wasn't true, and now here's my knowledge. Okay, that was true, that wasn't true, let's do this. And you're building the knowledge. Progressivism, leftism is all emotion-based. They take all that knowledge, those bricks piled up, throw them away because I don't like how it feels to believe that. I want to believe this other thing that just so happens to give me pleasure all the time. I want to do that. So now your knowledge is based on nothing. So actually, conservatism, conserving the traditions, is a much more scientific and intelligent and actually progressive way to live, because preserving traditions is what leads to progress, because the progress is built on the traditions and the acquired knowledge of society. You can't just say, oh, you're old, you're a dinosaur, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you think we know anything? We know things from millions and millions of trials and errors. We don't know things because we got a useless women's study degree and dyed our hair blue. I would say you don't know anything if that's what you're doing. So absolutely, it can't be feelings. Women have much more. This is scientifically proven. Women have much more access to the emotional center of the brain. Women have 10 times like the white matter in the brain than men. The brain, this is to say the women's brain is interconnected. It's like, imagine a tea bag. You dunk it in the water and the water goes in and out of the bag. Imagine a man's mind like a series of pipes. The liquid stays in this pipe, goes here. We're very logic, A, B, C. We're still emotional, but we're not given to the swings of emotion like women. And you left-wing people, they claim to be trust the science. Well, here's how you know what's true in science. You run an experiment and then you see the results. We've run society in the West with women at the helm for 50 years. You now have your results. Is everybody happy? This is what female leadership looks like in a culture. This is 50 years of it. You love this? Does everyone love this?
No.
And
nobody, even the morons who are pushing this, nobody wants to live in a society where everybody has a degree in cat orgasms. That's not going to get us anywhere. That's not going to build anything.
That's not true. That's
Actually, yeah, I have my doctorate in cat G spots.
But we can't build on that. It's too weak. It's too frail. That's not going to work. And as we go along in society and learn things, we pass it on. Hey, you're a scientist too. Well, we figured out 20 years ago that doing it this way doesn't work. Try it this way. Then they're going to take that. Okay, cool. To do this way. But now I've made it even better. I found an even shorter way. And you're going to pass that on. And we help each other. It's like a monkey swinging through the jungle, branch to branch. We're helping each other. We're sharing. And traditions are okay. That's our foundation. It was built on that. We always have to have a connection to that. We can't disconnect from that and just float away. You think you got a better way? You think you know something better? You don't know shit. Okay.
That's the arrogance.
Yeah. Stand on the shoulders of those under you and pay it forward.
Yeah. And that's not an opinion. That's just a fact about how science works. I got this iPhone here, right? This iPhone didn't pop into existence. When you see an iPhone, it's literally built of all the now century, I guess, of computing that human beings have been doing, all the way back to paper punch cards and vacuum tubes and all that. This can't exist without all of that happening first. And then the vacuum tubes and the punch cards, they can't exist with the steam power. And the steam power can't exist without the manpower and the Pythagorean theorem and all the stuff going, the Greeks and the Egyptians and everything. It all is built on each other. So when you have postmodernism and this leftism and this female leadership that just said history started this morning and is whatever I say it is nonsense. It's factually not true.
What a childish attitude. Man. It's very selfish and childish. And like we were talking in the last episode, take care of yourself and love yourself. Loving yourself does not mean you end up on a beach with sliced cucumbers over your eyes. That's not the kind of loving yourself that you need. That's being selfish.
Right.
Especially when you're a mother or you're in a relationship, you're married to somebody, that's selfish.
Right.
If you can't do that. When you're together, you can't be selfish anymore. You have to look at the greater good of everybody else. And if you have kids, it's all about them and their advancement in life and things like that. You no longer matter. It's like when you had your first baby and you go to your parents' house, the baby's grandparents, they don't even see you. They just open the door and grab the baby. You're just the people that bring the baby over.
Right. Oh, right. It's the baby deliveries here.
You're no longer
like the Domino's pizza boy. They're like,
they don't even see your face. They don't even look at you.
Right.
And that's how it is. When you have your family, man, that's the most important thing. And you just have to mold and shape your body and your life to fit what they need. Period. People who, I want to date, I want to date. I should be able to be a single mom and date. But no, you can't. Your dating life is dead.
Right.
These kids are number one. You mean nothing.
Right. Right. Yeah. And that's a horrible problem for kids, is being second place to their parents. And they know it from the youngest age. As soon as they
Oh
can
yeah.
start understanding who, like, what people are and all that, as a toddler, they get that they come after their single mom's dating life. They get it. And it's so damaging. It's so damn damaging.
Horrible.
There's a great psychologist from about 100 years ago, Carl Adler. He was against Freud and all them. They argued a lot. And one of the things he said, and I don't know if it's particularly true, but I loved it and I thought it was beautiful. He said, love is a thing that two people do together. And I don't put myself first. I don't put my wife first. I put us first. What is best for us as a couple? I thought, what a lovely way to put that.
Mm-hmm.
I think love of others is the same thing. You put what is best for us as people, not me. Because I think the only thing that is evil is selfishness, because all evil is derived from that. If I'm to do something that I want and I know it hurts others, then that's all evil is. I'm being selfish, and then you hurt others for your own pleasure. That's what wrong is. That's the only thing that is wrong. If you think of anything wrong you can think of, that's what it all boils down to. So absolutely, it's very important as a husband, as a father, and you guys watching this, you need to become that. That needs to be your goal. Don't be dating around just to bang a bunch of chicks. That's not the point of your life. The point of your life is to find a good wife, build a good family. Nothing is going to reward you more than that.
And don't be afraid. I know it happened to me. I'm sure it happened to you, Gabe. Don't listen to people who tell you that getting married is somehow the end of fun.
It's the beginning of your life.
It's just it's a level of fun that a person without a wife and children can't comprehend.
Right.
People, oh man, it's going to change. Yeah, for the better.
Right.
You have to put those childish things away. I can't hang out anymore over here and drink beer all the time and watch football and stuff. I have a family now.
And your buddy's priority. Like smelly garage eating like cold hot wings.
Man, I'm done with that. We had fun, but I'm building a brick wall over that, and I'm moving on to the next level. So don't listen to people who tell you that it's going to change and you can't do this and you change that. It's just you're not missing out on fun. Your definition of fun changes. Your definition of what you want to do with your time changes. You're still going to have a good time. I didn't have when you're pulling up to your buddy's driveway, you don't have that feeling that you do when you're pulling up at home, knowing that your kids are going to come running out. Daddy's home, daddy. There is no comparison to that. So
I woke up this morning. Changes. I woke up this morning. My granddaughter lives at my house. My adult daughter lives here too. And I was, I own my own business, Big Man Comics. I'm a comic book writer, illustrator, all that. And there's business challenges. You're trying to raise money. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do TV interviews now. And there's stress. And I was stressed out yesterday, a lot of work. And for those of you that don't know, drawing and coloring and writing, it's very time consuming to illustrate. And I just had a rough day yesterday and a rough night last night. And I woke up still feeling stressed. And I come out into the living room, my granddaughter, and comes up to me and just reaches for me. Just reaches for me with a big smile and big eyes. I'm like, why are you complaining, Gabe? This is everything, man. And then I go around the corner of the kitchen. My wife runs up, kisses me on the cheek. She's frying potatoes for breakfast. She's made the coffee. I'm like, you have nothing to complain about. You live in paradise. You live with people that love you in the most sincere way. That's all you need. And you got a chance to just love them all day. It's the most important thing we'll ever do is love other people,
Yeah.
So.
And your family and your kids, they cut right through all that shit.
Right.
Although the weight of the world.
It melted it this morning for me because I woke up because there's just some business stuff I was frustrated with. It's going right. It's going to go better. But there's challenges and there's hard work. It's like a big pile of stones. You can lift them and move them, but it's going to be hard. You'll get it done, but sometimes it sucks. So I had some business stuff that's stressing the hell out of me. And I see my granddaughter just reach for me. And she's, 11 months old. So she's just tiny, barely learned to just stand, And she's like, when she sees me. And all that bitching and complaining and feeling sorry for myself, just it evaporated immediately. It's like, thank you, God, that I have this,
Yeah, heavy is the head that wears the crown.
That's right. Well, that was a good one. I think we should cut it off there. We don't want to go too long. We want people to be able to digest these and enjoy them. Guys, hit the like, subscribe. This is a great thing we're doing. We have so much fun doing these. I really look forward to recording these with you, Jericho. And go visit all of Jericho's links. It'll be in the description. And we will talk to you later on the next episode of
Daditude.
I like it. Maybe that'll be our sign off. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.